Okay, so obviously the first thing you want to do is open up Dreamweaver, and you want to choose Sites. Choose Site and then Manage Sites. This is where you enter the remote server information, the FTP server information. Click the Manage Sites window, and if it's not set up already, you're going to need to click New and then select FTP server, FTP and RDS server. Alright, so from here, you're going to enter the information that I sent you, with one little hitch. So we'll put in PROW 230 assignment 3 as our server name. We want to choose access type FTP. Our FTP host is PROW230.com. Host directory we leave blank. Our login is a little bit different than what I'd put on the assignment sheet. You have to add U486338 in front of your McEwen student ID. So in my case, my McEwen student ID is Fraser C11, and it's capitalized just like that. So just like you have it on your email address, just like you have it on your registration form. Okay, so basically you put U48633826- and then your McEwen student ID. This would also be your email address, the part that comes before the @ symbol in mymail.mcewen.ca. Okay? Your password is your student ID, So in my case, my student ID is 1999999. Alright, so it's a 7-digit value. I've set up all of your FTP accounts to correspond to your student ID. Alright, the second last thing you have to do is click Use Passive FTP. Very important that you check that box. And then you need to add in your student ID after this slash here on the PROW230. So it should be PROW230.com/FraserC11. And remember, this should be all lowercase. Alright, all lowercase. So this is how it should look. If your user ID is different, your user ID is obviously going to be different. Alright, but this is how it should look. From here, we want to click Test. Alright, and make sure that you get a message that looks like this. If you don't get this message, alright, double check all of your settings. Double check that you've got the correct user ID, that you've got the correct student ID, and that you've got Use Passive FTP set. Alright, so this is how it should all look. When you're ready, click OK. Once you've done that, it will the site will now show up in your Manage Sites window. Right? It will also show up in your Files panel over here on the right. You can see it show up right there. Right? So now I've got that in my sites. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to use this. Okay? Now, if I'm just starting off in the project, I want to create a file, both the HTML file and the CSS file, and save them to the remote server. So I'm going to start by creating a new HTML document, right? Choosing a new HTML document, and the first thing I'm going to do is save it to the remote server. Save it to the remote server. All right, so this is something we can do now that we've created the sites. Okay, so save to remote server. You can see that we're already ready to go. You can see the web address is http://prow230.com/my username. All right, I'm going to call this assignment 3.html. You can call it whatever you would like. Alright, so it should show up and look exactly like this. Alright, your student, with replacing your student ID, all lowercase, with where Fraser C111 is. Alright, so I'm going to choose to save as the assignment 3.html. Great. So now you can see it's put it there. I can also right click in my Files panel and choose Refresh and see that it's now showing up. So in future, when I connect to this site, if I have to re-enter, simply double-click it from the Manage Sites window, my assignment file will show up there. So if I work on it one day and then leave it, come back another day and continue working on it, I can just load it directly from the server. Okay, and that'll show up over here in the right window. So for example, I close it, I come back, I log in. So I log in and look at my sites, right? Manage Sites. I can double click on this and connect. Alright, and you can see it'll show up here. I can then double click it to load up the file from the remote server. Okay, so that's how I access it. The next thing I want to do, of course, is create that CSS file, that external style sheet. Right? And remember, to do this, I'm using the text menu. I'm choosing CSS styles and then new. CSS styles new. All right. So as I said, I'm going to choose tag, and then I'm going to choose body. Body. And I want to make sure this says new style sheet file. So I'm going to say OK. Right? We've got a tag body, new style sheet file. Great. So you can see now, all right, that it's showing up in the proper directory. Am I proud to? This is the name of the remote server that I've created. I want to make sure this is set to relative to document, and I'm going to call this again assignment3.css. It's very, very important that you add in the .css here, right? So assignment3.css. Again, you can call whatever you want as long as you terminate it with .css. Okay, so this should be set relative to document. This should read PROW 230 assignment 3 or whatever you've named the FTP server, and click Save. Alright. From here you can start to add things. For example, you can change the background color, you can change the fonts that you're going to use in the document, whatever. At this point I'm going to choose to just leave as is and just create a blank definition. So you can see now I have both assignment3.html, which is changed to add in the link to the external style sheet to the file, and I've also created this assignment3.css file. At this point, assignment3.css has not been saved to the remote server, so I need to do that, and I can do that by clicking Save. And you can see it's done the work. If I click over here and right-click and choose Refresh, you can see assignment3.css is now showing up. Okay, I'm going to click here to save again the file with the new link. So at this point I've now created the two files for my assignment, assignment3.css and assignment3.html. Again, if I choose to, now that I've saved them and I come back another time, I load up the site, the remote server, from the Sites Manage Sites window. I have it all lined up here. Okay, I can now load it up and start to modify it. By double clicking on the file, I can load up the CSS file, load up the HTML file. That's it. That's how you create it. This is what I went over in class. That's how you load it up. That's how you create them.